On midnight Friday, Congress is set for yet another government shutdown. My take, do not do it. Let me explain. I totally get the deep desire to oppose what we are seeing. The country is in a paroxysm of pain watching what happened in Minnesota. 2 dead citizens, countless unprofessional, if not unconstitutional encounters, increasing conflict with agents that suggests a real chance of widespread civil unrest, an increasing number of non-local groups joining the fray with mixed motives. And no, the numbers and nature of those rounded up do not approach justifying all this drama. So I totally get demanding that ICE change how it does the job. My concern is not just Minneapolis, by the way, but that recent events are giving a bad name to law enforcement all over this country. And as you know, most of the men and women who serve do the job the right way. I also get debating why ICE needed additional funding that makes their budget larger than the entire Israeli defense budget. I even get why almost all Senate Democrats think the strong move is to say they will not vote to fund the government if there are no changes to ICE. I get all of it. But as we just learned a few months ago, and it's going to be even more true this time, nothing Democrats want will happen if they shut down the government. And they will pay the political price, even though I believe they are on the right side of this issue. Here's why I say this. Before the last shutdown, nearly 80% of Americans supported Congress extending the ACA subsidies. Before this upcoming shutdown, 60% of Americans say ICE tactics have gone too far. So you'd be going into this shutdown with support from the many, no question, but not like last time. And just like last time and in every shutdown, you're going to punish millions of Americans who don't deserve it. Luckily, SNAP won't see a disruption like it did last time, but air traffic controllers are going to be forced to go without pay. Again, the IRS is going to go unfunded at the exact worst time, tax season, and hundreds of thousands of other workers are going to be impacted. And this is not to say the desired changes don't make sense. Put them up. ICE takes off the masks, turns on their body cameras, no more roving patrols, issuing proper warrants before arresting migrants. DHS mandates clear use of force standards that prioritize de-escalation. By the way, all of this is pro forma in every other policing agency. And Congress restricts DHS sending CBP agents into the interior of the country. Now, many on the right are open to these ideas, except for the last one. And the president may be able to unilaterally make these adjustments, and he just might, to avoid a shutdown and to play off his recent receptivity to the fact that Minnesota is very, very bad for him. The main reason not to shut down is even more compelling than all that. Democrats cannot and will not affect ICE funding by shutting down the government. This is not a CR situation, a continuing resolution like last time. This appropriations package does not affect ICE or CBP. Why not? Apparently, this administration is not as unstrategic as they may appear. Trump's one big beautiful bill, or whatever they're calling it this week, gives supplemental funds to ICE and CBP despite a shutdown, appropriating years' worth of funding in advance. MAGA specifically structured that tax bill, that spending bill, last year to give ICE and BBP access to extra funding until 2029, so it's outside the annual appropriations process. This is extremely unusual. Maybe Trump knew that this rash of raids and resulting outrage was coming. The point is, the shutdown to oppose ICE won't work. Don't take my word. Take the word of the top Democratic appropriator in the Senate, Patty Murray. She said failure to pass a Homeland Security appropriations bill would not shut down ICE or CBP. A lapse would instead allow ICE and CBP to continue their operations using the OBBA funds. That's the one big beautiful bill. She also warned that ICE reforms that the House just passed would also not be enacted if Democrats vote no. Like what? $20 million that ICE has to use to purchase body cameras? $2 million to provide de-escalation training for agents who interact with the public regularly. Look, I know shutting it down feels like fighting back, and the desperation to oppose what ICE is doing is so intense that even Patty Murray is now in favor of a shutdown when she knows it won't work. Why? Because she's worried about her left flank. I get it. But I think that's caving to the wrong kind of pressure. Look at what the polls showed last time. Before the last shutdown, Democrats had a 34% approval rating. After it, 32%. And that was on an issue that had overwhelming majority wanting the fix. And by the way, it still hasn't been fixed. The ACA subsidies passed the House, but they're still sitting in the Senate. No one's even talking about it. How do you think people are going to react this time when they find out Democrats did this, knowing the agency they wanted to force to change won't even be affected by the shutdown? Look, the Democratic Party leaders may be out of ideas and out of their depth, but that is no reason to make the response to ICE's antics look like the problem. And that is what a shutdown risks. I think the country gets what is wrong. They are not asking for a shutdown. A shutdown is just another play at the division. The outrageous shooting deaths of two 37-year-old American citizens under the banner of one of ours, all of yours, is beyond the pale of right and left, and has us facing an existential question of what is America about when it comes to right and wrong. What we have seen is wrong. A shutdown would not make it better. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.